Hello, history buffs. Picture a dense jungle where every footstep could be your last, where the ground beneath could betray you, and where even a brush against a tree could unleash a deadly surprise. That was the reality of the Vietnam War.
Talk about nature's worst booby traps. What have we got today, Leo?
On our list today, the Punji Stake Pit, Bamboo Whip, Tiger Trap, Spike Bucket, Door Trap, Mace Trap, and the explosive Tripwire grenades. Welcome to Leo's Time Capsule. The art of guerrilla warfare is as ancient as conflict itself. It's about a smaller force using swift and covert tactics to level the playing field against a much larger enemy. And during the Vietnam War, no one embodied this art more masterfully than the Viet Cong.
Oh, so it's like David using his brains, not the brawn, to tackle Goliath.
Precisely, Dane. In the challenging terrains of Vietnam, traditional warfare techniques often faltered, but the Viet Cong, equipped with intimate knowledge of their homeland, turned the landscape into a weapon. They capitalized on a network of underground tunnels, some of which stretched for miles, providing a safe haven from bombings and facilitating rapid, unexpected strikes. Places like the Cu Chi tunnels became legendary. These underground labyrinths contained living quarters, storage rooms, and even makeshift hospitals.
So, they basically had an entire city underneath. Talk about extreme home makeover.
The Viet Cong's guerrilla tactics also extended to their logistics. They utilized the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a vast network of paths through Laos and Cambodia to transport supplies from North to South Vietnam. This trail, often under heavy bombardment, was kept operational through sheer will, resourcefulness, and the tireless work of thousands, often working under the cover of night.
Wow, that's dedication. An entire underground network and the supply route in practically enemy territory.
It's a testament to how home field advantage, combined with innovation and indomitable spirit, can shift the dynamics of warfare. And while their tactics were admirable from a strategic standpoint, the traps they set up were harrowing, as we're about to find out. First on our list is the Punji Stake Pit, a deviously simple but effective trap. Its history is rooted in centuries-old hunting techniques. The Vietnamese would dig pits, usually knee-deep, and line them with bamboo stakes, sharpened and fire-hardened. To make matters worse, they'd coat the stakes in poison or waste to increase infection. Soldiers during patrols or pursuits would inadvertently step on these concealed pits, leading to gruesome injuries.
Walking in the woods will never feel the same again.
An evolution of the Punji stakes, the bamboo whips presented another devious danger. Camouflaged bamboo sections, bent back and restrained, awaited the unlucky foot to trip a wire. Once triggered, these whips would lash out, impaling a soldier with their poisoned or feces-coated tips. Records from the time indicate these were particularly feared, for they struck without warning and at high velocity.
Sounds like something out of a horror movie.
The Tiger Trap was aptly named for its ferocity. This deadly contraption, often located in areas frequented by patrols, was a large pit filled with menacing spikes. Historically, variations of this trap can be traced back to ancient civilizations, but the Vietnamese added their own brutal touch. Some versions had a pivoted floor that would collapse under weight, leading to a deeper, spike-laden pit below.
Who knew floor could betray you like that?
Spike Bucket Trap, a lesser-known but equally horrifying device, was emblematic of the resourcefulness of the Viet Cong. It was simple in design but brutal in execution. Essentially, it was a deep pit dug into the ground, camouflaged to blend in with the surroundings. At the bottom lay a bucket filled with spikes. The bucket would often be on a pivot or hinge, ensuring that when a soldier stepped onto it, it would swing, ensuring they were impaled by the spikes. Records from American veterans recall the sheer terror these traps evoked. Because they were so deep, soldiers would often plunge straight in, the momentum ensuring a violent encounter with the spikes below. There's a harrowing account from Sergeant John Harris, who once watched a comrade disappear into one such trap during a routine patrol. The removal process was painstaking and often just as traumatic as the initial fall.
So it was like the worst kind of surprise at the bottom of a cereal box. Instead of a toy, you get spikes.
The door trap, deviously designed to exploit a soldier's basic instincts, was a testament to the Viet Cong's psychological warfare prowess. Doors and passageways, traditionally seen as safe thresholds, were turned into lethal traps. This trap was particularly nefarious because it weaponized a soldier's impulse for shelter or to clear a building. The mechanism was deceptively simple. A board studded with upward-pointing nails was hung at about chest level on the inside of a door. When a soldier, usually at the front of a patrol, kicked the door to break it open, the board would swing down, driving the nails into the chest, neck or face of the intruder. The added momentum from the soldier's kick only intensified the force of the blow. Veterans, in their accounts, described the trepidation they felt each time they had to breach a doorway, never knowing if a simple action could result in a violent and sudden injury. Lieutenant Michael Roberts, in his memoirs, recalled the shock of seeing a fellow soldier severely injured by such a trap, noting that it forever changed the way they approached seemingly mundane tasks in the field.
Geez, it's like a sinister jack-in-the-box. Only instead of a jolly jester, you get a face full of nails.
When we think of a mace, we might picture medieval knights and battlefields. But the Viet Cong brought this ancient weapon into the 20th century with a jungle twist. The Mace Trap was another example of the Viet Cong's innovation, using primitive methods to counteract the superior weaponry of their adversaries. The trap was fashioned from a large, heavy object, often a log or a large stone. This object was embedded with sharp spikes, sometimes coated with poison or fecal matter to ensure infection. The mace was suspended from a tree by ropes or vines. A tripwire on the ground was connected to the suspended mace. When an unsuspecting soldier triggered the tripwire, the mace swung down from its perch, striking the soldier with devastating force. Depending on where it hit, the trap could easily break bones or impale its victim. Given its weight and the momentum it gathered, the Mace Trap was one of the more lethal booby traps the Viet Cong employed.
Bringing medieval to modern warfare, huh? That's one history lesson I could do without.
The tripwire grenade trap was a testimony to the Viet Cong's ability to weaponize simplicity. At its core, it was a straightforward mechanism, yet its consequences were often fatal. The trap itself involved attaching a grenade with the pin removed to a tree or post. The safety lever of the grenade, which is held in place when the pin is in, was taped down. A thin, almost invisible tripwire was then connected from the grenade's safety lever to another nearby fixed point. The concept was simple but lethal. When a soldier would inadvertently trip the wire, the tape was yanked off the grenade, releasing the lever and initiating the grenade's fuse. Often, these tripwire grenades weren't alone. The Viet Cong would occasionally set up multiple grenades in a sequence, so even if a soldier managed to dive away from one, another could be waiting just a few feet away.
Talk about walking on eggshells, except these eggshells go boom.
From ingenious craftsmanship to sheer brutality, these traps serve as a chilling testament to the lengths humanity can go in times of war. If this journey into the past intrigued you, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more such deep dives.
Until next time, watch where you step and keep exploring history with us.